What's going on, people? It is Sunday, the 22nd of February today, 2026. It's actually, it seems to be a sunny day. I haven't actually got my blinds open, but I can see the light penetrating through my windows from my blinds. And I've got the vest on, so you can see it's a little bit warm. But I think that's just because the heat is on, full blast. But yeah, what's going on? I actually always forget the last video that I made. So you've got to bear with me in case I say the same thing again. But I always get like a spark of like a spark of like how do I say, like motivation, or not really motivation, like an idea that I just want to be able to share. And then I think, oh my god, like I talk to myself in the mirror. I know it sounds weird, but I talk to myself in the mirror. I talk to myself when I'm doing this, and I'm like, oh my god, let me just talk into the camera. Let me just share what I'm talking about right now. That's the whole point of it. I'll give you an update of what's going on, and then I'll talk about the thing that I actually wanted to be able to preach out there. So I finally got the yes from my other council to be able to go supply temporary accommodation deals, which is amazing. The two holding deposits I put down on my other properties, which was a bit ambitious of me, very ambitious of me, was is still available. Both agents are calling me. These are through agents, by the way, saying, "Oh my god, Harnik, the property is still available. Are you going to take it on?" And I'm like, oh my god, yeah, I've just got a yes from the council. Sent the properties over to him, and they'll get back to me on Monday and potentially take the property on next week, which is fantastic. Um, there's another thing I want to talk about that, but yeah, I'm gonna talk about it now. So every time something good happens, because I'm so used to fail after fail after fail, and thinking, this is too good to be true. I'm starting to think, oh my god, like what if this happens and what if that happens, and it's not. It's not a good mindset to have, because at the end of the day, what's going to happen is going to happen, if that makes sense. Like, that's out of my hands now. I've done everything I can do. I've done the meetings, done this, done that. So it's a case of if they take it on, which they will do. I'm confident they will do. But it's just a case of getting the property across the line, and getting making that my 849th deal, which is fantastic. And then there's also the payments I've got to think about in the future. Are they going to pay me on time and blah blah blah? But hey, I don't have to think about that right now. Think about the ABCs, which is fantastic. Also, great news. My car, I took it to Honda, the actual dealer. The guy gave me a phone call. I was fucking dreading this phone call, because I was thinking it's going to be about 4 or 5 grandish or something like that. It goes to me, it's free. And I'm like, oh my, are you serious? He's like, yeah. He's like, it's under the extended warranty. And he said it's going to be 12 grand worth of work. And I said, you mental. So you're telling me if it wasn't under extended warranty? I don't even know what that means, by the way. Extended warranty. I know what warranty means. Is basically like an insurance policy. Actually, I don't know why I have to get justification for that, because I'm actually not sure. But I'm pretty sure it's an insurance policy. But I didn't even know I had extended warranty on it. But it's a Honda Civic, 60,000 miles. It's 2017. There's no way the engine should be breaking, all this shit snapping. You should fix it for free. You can't make a car out there, and then there's nothing I can do. I can't jeopardize that. I've had no crashes. I've had no nothing. It's just a case of the car just being shit. It's just a rust bucket on wheels. So so I'm glad they're fixing it. And I should be, well, the problem is I'll be getting that back within 2 weeks now. With the council coming back to me and saying yes. It's going to be a bit of a difficulty, traveling, but I might just use my mum's car, or if I need to take the train. The other council, 4 properties. Well, I have 4 properties with them. 3 of them are filled. One of them's not filled, but I'm not worrying too much, because the profit that I get from one property can cover that rent until I get someone in there. So I'm not really that fussed about that. So yeah, those are the things that are good so far. Things seem to be going my way for right now. It's a bit of a change compared to the normally depressing videos that I make, like, oh my god, this, but they're not necessarily depressing, because I just talk about the difficulties I'm going through, and what I'm doing to overcome that, and obviously motivation, and keep going. And so, I'm sitting on a decently good profit now. I put 3,500, but it's not 3,500 yet, because that property still needs to be filled. And, I'm yet to get this one. So I might make a video next week. Well, I definitely will make a video next week if I get this property secured. So yeah. And I would love to show you, but I'm not too sure if I can turn it around on this yet. But also, I've created my other company for Gurisham Fresh Days, which is a short-term rental cleaning company. I was hinting at it for a while, And I said, fuck it, I'm going to make it. I was sat there twiddling my thumbs. I had this idea in the back of my head for about, I think, 3 weeks now, maybe even longer. I don't know, time. Ever since I've got into this business, well, business in itself, time just moves differently now. So when I think about these things, I don't know if it was last week, 1 month ago, 2 months ago, fuck knows. But I had this idea in my head, and it was a short-term rental cleaning company. Did a lot of research, still doing research, still going through a multitude of questions right now. But I said, you know what? Let me just assert myself into it. So I got the company address, I made my website, I bought the domain, I did all the basic things that I need to be able to do, and now I'm on the step. It's just a step by step. It's an idea. You take the step and you keep going until the steps are done. And now I'm on the step now where I need to be able to plan out, have all the questions which I'm unsure about, get it sorted and plan it out. Create a plan. I'm taking the proven method of what I've done with the rent to rent social housing and applying it in the best way I can into this business. The step by step. What do I want to be able to achieve? How many properties or how many cleans a month should I say? Obviously, I'm trying to figure out the right terminology right now with the basics that I know. Do I need to be able to do in order to get that profit that I want to be able to make? And at what distance do I want to be able to get there? How many a month do I want to be able to get? Like all this planning, and then all the questions I need to be able to get answered. So I've not explained that in the best way, but you understand what I mean. It's the process that you just need to be able to take question and answer, figuring it the fuck out. That's all it is, planning. And it's important. It's important not to stay in the planning stage for too long. Action always beats waiting. That's just a phrase I just made up on the spot. So action is progress. Well, this is progress in itself, but you know what I mean. So I'm just figuring it out now. This is the first weekend in a while that I've actually been able to, not work or, not be in work. So just doing this now. And reasons why. Reasons why is because I want to be successful, man. I want to be successful. I often sit in the weekends. I think, oh, I've worked all week. Property itself. Let me just chill out. And go to work. My delivery driving job. I started to realize that as much as I am making money through this business myself now, I'm lying to myself. And I started to think this. I started to think, if why are letting agencies also making sales? Because those services are closely related to each other, of course, but because when it comes to lettings, it's simple when you start to understand it. You find a property, you make your outreach, which you can do every single day, and it's maybe at one click of a button. You send the mails, and then you do everything you can do, and then you just wait in. And because you've learned the official way to be able to do things, that might take them a few hours, and all the rest of the time you're waiting for it to be able to come, and then when it comes, your time is taken up a bit because you're sorting out the process for that specific property. But then now you have all this other time left. So what do? You create the sales business. You create this, and in the exact same way, these are just investments. Once you've gone through all the shit that you need to be able to do to be able to figure out how the fuck do I do this? How do I get the properties? How do I make it make sense? And now the position that I'm in, and of course I'm still learning, but I believe I'm confident. I'm in a position where I've come up with such an efficient way to be able to use my time. And the relationships in itself with the council are life changing. Once you get that, it's a case of getting the properties, and then being efficient with your time to be able to get the properties. After you spend your few hours in the day to be able to go through all the agent platforms, all the landlord platforms, to be able to make the calls and send the messages, you're left with this big portion of the day. So I started to think I'm lying to myself, saying to myself I'm working hard. From a third person's perspective, people might say you're working hard, but I know in myself I'm not. And do I want to be successful? Yes. Is there a chance that this business might fail? The councils might turn around and give the properties back, and yes, it's rare considering the way that I've sold to them and the properties that they need. But how bad do you want to be successful? And I want to get successful, quick, in a sense of quicker than I'm doing now. Obviously not quick. Obviously I would love to get quick money, but that's not realistic. But yeah, like, what can I do? And I was thinking, I've got time. I need to be able to create a business. I want to be able to create this business. I like this business. Fuck it. Let me get the company house. Let me get this. Let me get that. Let me get that. And let me figure it out. Now, it comes to the point which I mentioned at the start of the video, which was the thing that was really bugging me. The things that really bug me is when I start to doubt myself over stupid reasons. Now it's logical reasons, but they are stupid reasons when you look at it this way. One of the reasons was saturation. You hear that word a lot, and that's one of the things that keep a lot of people away from it. Or this market's too saturated. This is too saturated. Too many people are doing this. I want to figure out something else. I want to do something else. I want to figure out a niche, something that not many people are doing. And to my knowledge, that's only really achievable if you're creating a new product or brand new service or something like that. You know, you take it on Dragon's Den or whatever it is. You're creating something new, you know, and it's not to say that can't be done, because I know there's, you know, platforms such as Uber, which was never here, but like Uber Eats, stuff like that. But those are all extended off, you know, well, whoever made the first Uber Eats, was it Just Eat? I don't know. But yeah, those are new ideas, of course, 100%. But that word really fucking bugs me, because I'm thinking about this food chain. What the food chain I actually ordered yesterday, that I order pretty much all the time. You know, let me just show it for reference, so they know I'm an OG. Burgerism, Burgerism, Burgerism are a food business. You know, Burgerism. They sell burgers, sell chips, good quality beef. So I started to think, okay, well, in the last 100 years in Manchester, because they're predominantly Manchester based. I think they are only Manchester based so far, but they've got, you know, multiple different locations. Why are they so much more successful, or how have they got so much more successful than all these other companies that have been open for 80 years plus? Well, maybe not, I don't know, like 60 years plus. You know, since the dawn of time, since I was fucking 5 years old in Manchester. How is it possible? Because they're number one in Deliveroo, and you know they're opening all these different chains, and I'm just thinking how. Now, of course, I don't know exactly how, but the mindset of saturation is bullshit, because burgers and all these other places, those are, if not the number one business that everyone tries to get into. You know, when you know, people come overseas, they think, okay, well, you know, they want to get into business. Let me create a food company. Let me create open a shop and do this. And yet, burgerism only came out in 2020 or 2021. I'm not too sure, and they scaled it up massively. Like, you got to be able to think about this, man. Stop thinking about things that are saturated. Stop thinking about, oh my god, like there's too many people doing this shit. Look, I said this year, you've got to be able to have, I call the McGregor mindset. You know, Conor McGregor. There's a video out there, which he states in the UFC, he wanted to be able to go in there, smash a few heads in, make some money, and then bounce. And that's exactly what he did. He came in, smashed a few heads, made some money, and then bounced. Now, of course, he didn't leave in the exact way that he wanted to be able to leave in. You know, he broke his leg, but that's exactly what he did. And he didn't have to come back into the UFC because he's made all this money. And it's the exact same mindset to be able to take in any business sector. The whole idea of it is to be able to come into the business, take your piece of the pie, take your piece of the cake, and then bounce. And when I say bounce, I don't necessarily mean, you know, get rid of your company or anything like that. I don't even necessarily mean sell your company. I mean, get it to a point where, you know, if you want, of course, to make it so you're not part of the business anymore, or you're spending few hours on the business every single week. So you're able to focus on the next thing. So you're able to enjoy yourself on holiday. You know, that's the mindset you need to be able to have. You know, this is life at the end of the day. We want to be able to enjoy life. We can't, you know, be in this life to be able to just work. And, you know, that's my mindset, of course. Everyone else is different. But to be in this life just to be able to work every single fucking day, I want to be able to live life the way I think it should be done. And that is having money to be able to do anything that I want to be able to do. And yeah, that's it. Now, that might seem selfish, but you know, the McGregor mindset, man, that's what you need to be able to think. Stop thinking about this saturation bullshit. And, you know, I'm contradicting myself a bit, because when I first started, you know, I had the same mindset about, oh, Airbnb, I don't want to get into Airbnb, you know, it's saturated, all this shit. But, you know, it was also a case of, you know, what I wanted to do, what rang true to me. And for that business model, that's not what I wanted to do. So yeah, I'm glad I made this video. And yeah, I'm glad I made this video. And so, yeah, I guess I'll see you next week if I get this property across the line, and let's keep going.